Big announcement and a big breaking news coming in. We'll have to cut straight across to it. It is the big announcement by Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy, Visakhapatnam to be named Andhra Pradesh's capital. Jagan Mohan Reddy says Visakhapatnam to be the new capital of Andhra. The city capital idea for Andhra finally buried is the question. Jagan Mohan Reddy, the Chief Minister, says, I will shift to Visakhapatnam as well. This is a big announcement by Jagan Mohan Reddy. Visakhapatnam is going to be the capital in the days to come, and he goes on to say that I myself will be shifting to Vizag. Vizag is short for Visakhapatnam, and let's listen in to what Jagan Mohan Reddy had to say on this front.
Here I am to invite you to Visakhapatnam, which is going to be our capital in the days to come. I myself would also be shifting over to Visakhapatnam in the months to come as well. And we are organizing this global summit, investor summit in Visakhapatnam on March 3rd and 4th. And I take this opportunity to personally, here I am to invite you to Visakhapatnam, which is going to be our capital in the days to come. I myself would also be shifting over to Visakhapatnam in the months to come as well. And we are organizing this global summit, investor summit in Visakhapatnam on March 3rd and 4th. And I take this opportunity to personally invite all of you.
Akshita Nandagopal joins us from the newsroom. Akshita, you're the expert here. If you could put this news into perspective for our viewers as well, the idea to have Visakhapatnam as the new capital of Andhra Pradesh, and why would the Chief Minister make a decision of this nature? What could be the possible reason?
Well, perhaps what the statement by Jagan Mohan Reddy has done, Chaiti, is throw more questions really than answers. Yes, there's been a lot of talk about Jagan Mohan Reddy shifting. There's also a new construction that's coming up in Ruchikonda in Visakhapatnam to ensure that there's a permanent residence for the Chief Minister there. But by him actually going ahead and announcing that Vizag will be the capital, it means he's going ahead with the three capital plan, because he's always planned for Vizag to be the executive capital, for Amaravati to be the legislative capital, and then for Kurnool to be the judicial capital. Now, the reason there's a question mark about why Jagan has gone ahead and made this comment is because this is still pending in the Supreme Court. Remember that the High Court earlier had put brakes on Jagan's grand plan of a three-capital state and having three capitals for the state of Andhra Pradesh. And because the High Court had stalled it, saying you have no rights to do that, when Chandrababu Naidu, the former Chief Minister, had announced Amaravati will be the capital. Now the Supreme Court is hearing this matter. If I'm not wrong, just 2 weeks ago, the Supreme Court even issued a notice on the special leave petition that was filed by the Andhra government in this matter. But it's clear that Jagan Mohan Reddy right now is going to do everything he can to establish that he wants to go ahead with the three capital plan, that the executive capital will remain Vizag. So he's going to be switching base there. The reason that he's always reiterated this particular move of having the executive capital as Vizag and not Amaravati is because Vizag, according to the YSRCP, is more developed. Amaravati is a base that needs to be developed. Of course, you had Chandrababu Naidu envisioning a huge grand plan for Amaravati. It led to massive protests by farmers who said, what happens to our land now? What about all the land that was taken away from us? And that's why it's a big bone of contention in Andhra Pradesh. Jagan Mohan Reddy right now is saying that, look, Vizag is more developed. We're talking about health cities already being there. Special economic zones already being set up in Vizag. He's announced an investor summit also in Visakhapatnam. So he's steamrolling ahead with the plan. But the big question mark is what then happens in the Supreme Court? What if the Supreme Court comes ahead and upholds the High Court's decision? What happens then?
And pardon my ignorance here, what happens to Amaravati in the process?
So that's the question really, Chaiti, and that's why we've been seeing massive protests in Amaravati by farmers there who are saying that, you know, we've been ditched by the YSRCP. They celebrated when Chandrababu Naidu announced that Amaravati is going to be made into the capital. But now with Jagan Mohan Reddy saying that Amaravati will be a legislative capital, obviously it's not the same as having the heart of, in fact, the state in a place like Amaravati. So it's going to no doubt lead to a lot more protests. This has been one of the biggest showdowns, one of the biggest bones of contention between the TDP and the YSRCP. So this sets the stage essentially, Chaiti, for a bigger political showdown. What happens to Amaravati right now is anyone's guess. But this is Jagan Mohan Reddy reiterating what he wants to do, that he is going ahead and making Vizag the executive capital.
But Akshata, he can make all these grand plans, he can make these announcements, but at the end of the day, does the decision then lie with the Supreme Court because the plea is being heard?
Yes, it does. You know, the High Court has already put a stay on this particular move, because as soon as it was announced by Jagan Mohan Reddy, and look, let's be very clear, it's very ambitious when you say there's going to be 3 capitals. Nowhere else in the country do you have a state where there are 3 capitals. Now, the reason for that was because there was a lot of talk about Andhra Pradesh not being sustainable enough, having to set up a capital from scratch. Obviously, it's a tall ask. Chandrababu Naidu said Amaravati is the city that I'm going to convert. You know, he referred to Bahubali, saying I will make it into another Maheshmati. If anyone has seen Bahubali, they'll get that reference. But Jagan Mohan Reddy has said that we have to be practical. Vizag is a lot more developed. Let's make that our base. Let's make that the executive capital. And he said that Kurnool can be the judicial capital, while Amaravati will be the legislative capital. But, like I said, the High Court earlier said that you can't do this. You can't go ahead and override what's already been decided by Chandrababu Naidu, that these powers can't be tweaked. So when the High Court put brakes on his ambitious plan, he approached the Supreme Court. The Andhra government officially filed a special leave petition in this matter. That's something that's still being heard right now. Just 2 weeks back, the Supreme Court issued a notice to about 200 odd respondents who had challenged this petition by the Andhra government. So it's still a matter that's being heard. As far as the bill itself is concerned, there's been a lot of back and forth in the Assembly over that.
Akshata, continue to be with us right there. Akshata putting this entire story into perspective. Well, she is the expert as far as this is concerned. Let's listen in to Jagan Mohan Reddy once again and his ambitious plans of creating Visakhapatnam or Vizag to be the next, probably the capital of Andhra Pradesh. Listen in to what he had to say.
Here I am to invite you to Visakhapatnam, which is going to be our capital in the days to come. I myself would also be shifting over to Visakhapatnam in the months to come as well. And we are organizing this global summit, investor summit in Visakhapatnam on March 3rd and 4th.